Josh, it feels my thing is more about debunking concepts the mind has around awakening as opposed to anything else. Something just feels, if we get rid of all these concepts, that then all of a sudden our natural state and self is going to shine through more. And one big obstruction that people's mind has, they say this is no, not they. I just wanted to say there's a saying that says the way you know if somebody's awake is you got to be awake yourself. Otherwise, the mind's going to be judging and sizing people up. And oh no, he did that. He's not awake. Oh, he's twitching, or he's acting too hyper. Not awake. Oh, he's too calm. He's like dull. He's not awake. Whatever. But the human, a big mind delusion that keeps one, you can say, sleeping, is this idea and fantasy and concept that awakening means all of a sudden we're not going to be human anymore. What's human, though? Let's define. And actually, you could become awake and be more human. I'll explain in a minute. But what's human? A leaf fell. What's human? Human meaning, okay, physical body. People think maybe, if this body gets hurt, that they just won't feel it. They're so detached from the body, they won't even feel it. Now see, now, this is another way the mind will come. Because if you read Autobiography of a Yogi, there was, at the beginning of the story, he's sharing there was a saint out in the woods, and the police thought he was a bad guy or something, and ended up cutting his arm off. And then somehow he realized, wait a minute, oh no, you're the great saint. I just cut your arm off. He felt bad, probably because he didn't want karma. The saint said, no, it's all good. Like, really, I'm going to fix this. I'll be back tomorrow. I want you to come back and see, because I don't want you to worry about it. Policeman's like, okay, cool. So, and then he materialized his arm, came back, showed the cop, everybody's happy. So the mind was, so when I'm saying like, you're still going to feel pain. I mean, look at Jesus. You think he didn't feel pain on the cross? I mean, we weren't there. We don't know, but I'm just saying it looked like he was feeling pain. I like giving examples in real time because I just do. But so when I'm saying like that the physical body is still going to have sensations of pain, somebody could say who wants to be attached to their belief of that when you're awake you don't feel any pain, they'll say, well, look what happened in our Autobiography of a Yogi. He didn't feel any pain. That's a yogi. That's a yogi. Meaning, not like, oh, he's a yogi, he's higher than other awakened beings who are bhakti. That's not what I mean when I say he's a yogi. I'm going to explain what I mean. When you're a yogi, when that's your lineage and that's your practice of doing bandhas and mudras and all kinds of things, you're gonna acquire some powers. You're gonna know how to manipulate with your life force. You're gonna have your particular archetype is gonna express this awakening different than, say, somebody else, than Jesus's, for example. Jesus felt the pain. Maybe this awakened being who had his arm cut off, if he was getting nailed to the cross, maybe he'd be like, can you put another nail in? Who knows? Not everything expresses the same way. But by far and large, you're going to still feel pain in the body. You might even feel more. You're more sensitive. And then, so we're talking about what is being human? What does it mean? Emotional body. Feelings, desires. That doesn't disappear. If your mom dies or your friend dies or something, suddenly you think you're not going to feel bad. You're not going to have some emotions around it. The difference is there's acceptance of that. You're playing the human role because you want to experience life. So by being awake, that don't cancel that out. You still feel those things. So that's human. You got the body, you got the emotions and desires. You still might have a desire, if you like the beach, maybe you want to go to the beach. Or if you like living in nature, it's not like if they put you in Manhattan, New York, if you have the option, it's different. If divine puts you there, then that's your mission. You got to be there. But like if you have the option of being in nature living or at the beach versus Manhattan, New York, or a big city, Beijing or Jakarta or something, you're not going to be like, just doesn't matter. I don't even know the difference. You think you're going to say that? Or certain foods. Like Muji loves to eat. He admits, it's a little bit of an eating addiction. He's good with it. It's like whatever. He loves his Caribbean food. And he eats meat. Oh no, awakened being don't eat meat. God shows that awakened, there's no standard. There's no standard. You still, you retain a certain amount of, you still retain your human self. Your mind, you're still drawn to certain things. You think a guy's still awakened guy's not going to be attracted to a girl, or vice versa. On a human level, there's some nice energy there. I saw once a woman was talking to this awakened being. I was watching this some time ago in satsang. Her energy was so pure. Her surrender. This is the beauty and benefit of when God incarnates into the female form. The negatives are a little emotional. Okay, the positive is when that emotion gets channeled into in a very specific, pure way. It's like, whoa, you got to hold on to something. So she was just so devotional to this master, and he couldn't look at her. He just couldn't look at her. I know, I could see what's happening. It was too much. He's just. And even had some tears. She was just breaking him down, on an emotional level. And I know he liked it. What a nice experience. What do you think? You're awake and you just look like this to everybody? A killer comes in front of you? A nice devotional bhakti type energy? You might as well go be in that Stepford Wives movie. Like, that ain't what it is. So those things still play. That has to be really... The people that need to hear this, though, they're not going to see the video because they don't. People, it's like the ego don't want to have its concepts debunked. It's like some of these hardcore Christians. There was a girl. She lived with me for a month or so back some years ago. I was so glad when she didn't anymore. But we became close, yeah, I was going to go off on a side story, but I'm not. So not with her. Like we weren't, okay, I'll do it. We weren't sexual at all. I had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't want her to move in though. I didn't want the girlfriend to move in because it's like I like our space. So then she couldn't understand, well, why are you letting this girl stay? I'm like, it's temporary. She's like living out in the woods in a tent. She needs, I feel like I should help her. The girlfriend couldn't get it. The jealousy and envy was too much, So anyway, got to transcend that stuff. If you trust your partner, you trust them. Did I share before about so many stories? I'll share maybe later or another video. So this girl, we became, you live together. You're gonna be, you're gonna synergize on some level. But then she had a boyfriend. It ended, and then she got full on Jesus. I've seen that more than once. Because you need something to ground, And then later we would try to talk, and it would just be super dogmatic. Jesus is the only way. You're going to die. You're going to go to hell if you don't believe. All the other religions are wrong, and basically. And I couldn't penetrate. I couldn't do anything. What was the point of that, though? We're talking about the human self still. I don't know the point. Maybe you know the point, because I was flowing and I started talking about that, and then you let me know. You let me know if there's a point. Maybe I'll finish the point in another video or something. So I just want to. Oh, I was talking about like the people that really need to hear it. I got it. I remember the point. She couldn't hear it. Like, she needs to hear that. That's a concept. When I say she needs to hear it, though, I don't really mean it. She's going to hear it when she needs to hear it, in whatever form she needs to hear it at that particular time. This is karma being worked out. We have to do these things. We have to identify with certain concepts for a while. That's our karma. What are you going to do? So those people that need to hear it, they wouldn't want to hear it. That's the irony. Those that enjoy it, you don't really need to hear it. But you like hearing it, you know? I know. So that's why we're talking about it. But that can accelerate one's spiritual evolution when you write down all your concepts that you have around awakening, of what you think it looks like and all that. And then ask God to help you realize they're not true. The mind cannot understand what awakening is because the mind won't awaken. The mind gets absorbed in our natural state. Instead of the mind being in the forefront and our natural state in the background, it flip-flops. So then the mind becomes more harmonized with our natural state. It still doesn't understand the natural state. How can it? It would explode. But it's somehow been tamed now. In our natural state's using the mind like it should be used for, like an instrument to enjoy this level of creation. And we need the mind. I heard somebody speaking once that's just talking negative about the mind. Like, do you realize if you didn't have your mind, you wouldn't be any perception about anything? You wouldn't even be here to speak. You wouldn't even have a sense of yourself or nothing. Nothing wrong with the mind. Later, we got to transcend the mind. You don't get rid of the mind, you transcend it. That's an evolutionary thing. So relax, be easy on yourself. Don't trip. Try hard, but don't trip at the same time. Paradox. All the best pointers are paradoxical, but intuitively you can understand it. Have a good day.